Call of Duty Ghosts is a game that came out in 2013. It's the 10th mainline Call of Duty game in the franchise and is considered one of the weakest games in the franchise, mainly due to having a poor multiplayer. As much as I don't like the multiplayer, and as much as I kind of like the third mode, Extinction, they will not be the subject of this video. Instead, I want to look at the campaign. The campaign is pretty interesting to me. While most people say that it's forgettable, mid, average, everywhere in between, in recent years, I've seen a lot of people call this game and its campaign underrated, and that it deserves a sequel. Now, what do I think of this game? Well, that's why I made this video. I'm going to go over the gameplay and narrative of the story, and go over what works and what doesn't work. I'm also going to rank every level in the game, just to add a bit of depth into this review. I know it's probably super obvious, but I'll be completely spoiling this game. I'll also bring up a few other games, which will likely also contain spoilers, so if you're interested in playing the games listed on screen, play them before watching this video. Anyways, let's start a new game and play the first mission. But before we do that, I'd like to thank our sponsor for this video. Me. I'm the sponsor. Because no one else gives a shit about this YouTube channel. So I'd appreciate if you liked, subscribed, maybe left a funny comment. Okay, let's actually start the review. Level 1, Ghost Stories. The game starts out, like a lot of other games, with a cutscene. The cutscenes in this game are pretty strange. Not in a bad way though. They're not like the cutscenes you get in the previous Modern Warfare games. And they're definitely not the pre-rendered cutscenes we have in Black Ops 2 and pretty much every Call of Duty afterwards. I don't really know how to describe them. You'd have to see for them yourself. They're pretty artistic. In this cutscene, a guy tells a story about a group of soldiers assigned to protect a hospital from another group of soldiers. Unfortunately, the good soldiers were outgunned and outnumbered by the bad guys. Despite this, the fight wasn't over, as a few of the good soldiers were still alive, and using their stealth skills, they were able to kill all the bad guys over time, leaving one left who ran away scared.
When the enemy drew near, the remaining 14 rose out of the desert sand. They were like hunters that couldn't be seen, using stealth their enemies couldn't defend against. When the men ran dry of ammunition, they used their blades. And when the blades ran dull, they used their hands.
I gotta say, this is a pretty good introduction to the game so far. This group of soldiers sound really badass. Who are they?
He called them ghosts.
And this really happened.
So the legend goes.
Come on, Dad. You don't honestly believe that story's true.
Really? Are you f***ing kidding me? After that cool story, this is where we're gonna go? We're gonna have this stupid cliche? This is the type of shit you'd see in a kid's movie. Although, to be fair, a lot of kids play Call of Duty. You guys suck! But that's no excuse. Oh, Dad, you really think that story's true? Absolutely not. There's no way in hell that Ghosts would be in a game called Call of Duty Ghosts. Fucking dumbass. By the way, this is your dad, and this is your brother Hesh. Keep that in mind as you're supposed to care about these characters.
Come on, let's head back to the house.
As the family was walking home from their walk, or whatever they were doing, tremors start happening.
Oh, no tremor there. Your mother.
Yo, Mom! Despite them living in California, it's not an earthquake. It's something much worse.
Dad, what's happening? Oh, it's Odin.
We also see the neighborhood keeping their cool by recording the fucking disaster going on around them and not trying to get to safety or something. Except this asshole who hits me with his car. After a bit of walking and a few respawns, we make it to our house, which is about to collapse, so we have to leave right away. But right before we leave, we get a flashback to 15 minutes ago, in space. Being in space is pretty cool, but given Infinity Ward's previous track record with space, it probably won't end well. So we found out a bit of what the dad guy was talking about. This is Odin, a weapon made by the US. I don't really have much to say about it right now. It can blow stuff up.
Copy, payload.
Pressurizing airlock. Oh, I'm really looking forward to going home. What's it been? 3 months?
Infinity Ward, this isn't how you get me to give a shit about your characters. Look, they never really went that in depth with a lot of their characters, besides maybe a few exceptions, but they knew not to pull some, man, I can't wait to go home and not die type of shit. Which actually reminds me, there's something that you should understand about this game. After Modern Warfare 3 released, Infinity Ward split up. Not a lot of the original developers were left. This includes the writers who were new to Infinity Ward at the time. So it might explain why the writing isn't as good as in the original Modern Warfare games, but that doesn't mean it was doomed from the start just because the OG writers were gone. Hell, if they dragged my ass into the studio, I probably could have written a better story than... Wait, what the hell is going on? Wait. How did this happen? It should not be this easy for terrorists to sneak into a US spaceship like that. How much ass does your security gotta suck in order for something like this to happen? Also, I love how Retirement Lady just immediately shuts the door on them and leaves these poor fellas to die. I also like how she tackles this one terrorist, which makes the gun fly directly to you and makes you learn how to shoot in this game. Eventually, we learn the name of this terrorist group that's causing all this trouble. The Federation. What kind of name is the Federation? It would have been better if it was something stupid like, I don't know, fucking evil poison child killers or something. So anyways, the Federation has taken over the super weapon and is about to blow up a bunch of cities, particularly cities in the south. The commander tells us that we have to destroy it, which is what we're gonna do. Right before we get a sad scene with Retirement Lady and player character number 13, whom I don't give a shit about.
The atmosphere. Specialist Mosley. Kira. We have LOS with the crew of Odin Control. Repeat, loss of signal with Odin Control.
You know, you can't really put sad music in a character's death to make their death sad. You gotta first get us to care about these characters. Take, for example, Soap. Soap has been a character throughout the Modern Warfare trilogy. Not so much in the first game since he's a player character and pretty much every player character in COD before Mason never really spoke or was given an actual character, but you still played as him. Then in Modern Warfare 2, they made Soap into an actual character. In fact, he would be one of the main characters in both Modern Warfare 2 and 3. What makes his death impactful isn't just because they put sad music over it, and it isn't just because his death scene is overall a lot better than Retirement Lady's death scene, but because at that point, he spent so much time with Soap. The thought of him dying is depressing. I've been with Retirement Lady for 5 minutes, and I've seen bars of Soap with more personality than her. Anyways, after all that, we get sent back to San Diego with Hesh. Clearly, all hell has broken loose. Seriously, I just love all the destruction that's going on all over the place. This is cool as f***. Anyways, after a bunch of parkour, this happens. Damn, that is pretty good at finding his... Oh my god, he brought a fucking truck. How the hell was he even able to drive all the way over here? The road is completely destroyed in front of us. We just saw it get obliterated. Whatever, we hop up into the truck and get a good view of the destruction. And also we see the title of the game. And with that, the level is finished. You know, for a first level, it wasn't entirely crap. It wasn't exactly good either. I like the intro cutscene and the story it told, plus that bit near the end was really cool. I guess space was neat. Everything else about this level sucks though. This level feels like one of those levels like Revelations in Black Ops and the Coup in Modern Warfare, in the fact that it feels more like an interactive cutscene than an actual level. These kinds of levels work well when they serve a strong narrative purpose. The Coup serves to show how messed up the Middle East is, and how the US should probably step in and take their role, stop the terrorists. And Revelations shows Mason coming to terms with the truth about Reznov. The narrative purpose of this level is to show that San Diego has been blown up, and these... God, who the fuck is texting me? As I was saying, the narrative purpose of this level is to show that San Diego has been blown up by these Federation guys, who really hate the US for some reason. I guess it kinda works, but it doesn't really tell us a whole lot of the story, which we don't really know yet. And that shit with Retirement Lady was just so distracting to me, honestly. I'll put it in D tier, because I feel like all the mid stuff outweighed the cool stuff. Level 2, Brave New World. So this level takes place about 10 years after the first level. The intro cutscene gives us more information about what's going on in the plot. Sometime before the Ghost Stories level, the quote, great energy producing deserts in the Middle East became depleted, which crippled a lot of the world's economies. It's not clear what exactly the narrator is talking about, but I'm assuming he's talking about how the US has no more oil to steal, so now they're poor. Somehow this causes all of South America to join together and create the Federation. Over time they became a new superpower, and now they're at war with the US. Fortunately, America is the bestest country in the world, and are very strong against the Federation. Anyways, we wake up in some room with our brother Hesh, who, might I mention, looks pretty ugly now. We also see where 70% of the budget for this game went to. The dog, Riley. Spoiler alert, despite the amount they hyped up the dogs for this game, Riley only shows up for a few levels, including this one. So you're probably wondering what we're doing here. Our goal isn't exactly clear, but this level takes place outside of Fort Santa Monica, which is our current residence. We're trying to find any Federation scouts that are looking for a weakness to exploit so they can get in and raid the entire fort. Before we talk about this mission, I got a few questions for this game. How the hell has the Federation been struggling to take the entire US in 10 years? This cutscene basically tells us that the Federation is a really strong nation, and that the US and its allies were crippled from their resources from the Middle East being lost. How the hell does the US have the resources to be able to fight this war with a superior enemy for 10 years? Anyways, back to the level. So we just move around this abandoned building. This area really gives out the feeling of abandonment, almost as if it's been abandoned for years. Which, exactly what happened. Nothing really happens until...
Guess Riley was getting hungry.
Dude, those animals are so fucking funny!
Anyways, we meet up with a bunch of other guys. We also eventually run into some Federation guys and kill them. After shooting them, we run into some more Federation guys who are executing innocent civilians. I've only made fun of the Federation for their stupid ass name, so let's make fun of them for something else. The Federation as villains are extremely mid. We never really learn about their culture, or how their people live, or anything interesting about them. They're basically just 1940s Germans that like to do bad things. More importantly though, they're just targets for you to shoot at. And say what you want about the Germans back in the day, but they at least had a great fashion sense. These Federation guys are just the most generic soldiers I've ever seen. You can replace these guys with Russians, and it probably won't make much of a difference. The only unique thing they got going is that they speak Portuguese. A scene of them killing random people just feels like a lame attempt to show us that they're the bad guys. But they're still bad guys, so we have to kill them. We then follow them into this storm drain and start shooting more of them. You know, I will say these shootouts are pretty fun, but they're not exactly unique. I mean, we've seen plenty of shootouts since the beginning of the franchise. What we've also seen before is a helicopter which you have to shoot down using an RPG. At least this time it's kind of like Half-Life 2, where you have to guide the missile to the helicopter using a laser and isn't just automatic like in other games. So it's at least slightly unique. I should probably also mention that some of the guns in this game are Some guns control okay, but some guns like the Honey Badger have high recoil and just shoot all over the place. Like, it's usually okay for me to just shoot all the enemies when the gun is automatic, but not with the Honey Badger. The Honey Badger is just all over the place. After blowing up the helicopter, we leave the area and we jump to a military base with our new dog model on the tank. Look how cute he is. We then leave the tank and go to our dad. By the way, the dad's name is Elias. He tells us about how the feds try to take people in and try to find ways into cities. Why don't they just use their helicopters? Are they stupid? They probably are, because they think killing a bunch of people is going to help them stop the US.
You boys, you're the only thing I've got left in this world.
Sorry, Dad, I still don't care about you. And no, I'm not going to call him Elias. We go outside just for our dad to tell us some stuff. The dad says that after being in the defensive for so long, he wants to go on the offensive against the Federation, and is sending us both to this place called No Man's Land.
So where in No Man's Land are we going?
And just like that, the level ends. I'm going to put this in C tier. It has more gameplay and shooting compared to Ghost Stories, but this level doesn't have a whole lot to note outside of the dog showing up for the first time. But then again, we've seen dogs before, so who the hell cares? Level 3, No Man's Land. As stated at the end of the last level, we're going to this place called No Man's Land, which happens to be where our home used to be before it got blown up. The level starts off with the camera starting up. We're controlling our dog Riley as we wait to ambush some Federation guys. After making Riley bite some guy, we immediately switch back to our main character, Logan, and kill them. Right after we kill them, we found our old house.
Welcome home. What's left of it anyway?
I like the scene in the house. Well, kind of. Sort of. A little bit. Slightly. There's a good idea with this scene. I think at this point, it's obvious that we're in a war. Not only that, but this is a war that our characters have been significantly affected by, as we saw their neighborhood get demolished in the first level. It's inevitable that our characters will be like, man, I miss when war wasn't a thing. And we get to see a bit of this in this scene. Although, I feel like more could have been done. There's one line from Hesh in the cutscene, and he says,
The beaches and surf breaks of my own childhood were now mined and abandoned.
He also finds this gun that he used to really like.
Never thought I'd see this thing again.
That's kind of about it. I wonder how Logan feels about this. How do you feel about seeing your home destroyed? Anything? Oh yeah, I forgot he can't talk. One thing I actually fully like, and not just sort of, is the atmosphere for this level. No Man's Land really feels like a place that was destroyed, abandoned, and is also a little bit spooky. Also, this view of the crater is awesome.
Watch your step.
After moving through the big crater, we've switched back to the dog, where we get better control of him. Now we have to kill a bunch of soldiers with the dog. The dog is definitely the highlight of this level. And I do like the parts where we play as him. Since Riley doesn't know how to use guns, we have to rely on killing soldiers with our teeth, like we did at the beginning of the level. In other words, we have to use melee attacks. We're also going to have to do this stealthily, because once the soldiers know where we are, Riley goes the way of Old Yeller and gets gunned down. We can also bark to move soldiers closer to us. While it's fun to play as Riley, we only get to do this twice. And they don't last very long either, so I hope you enjoy it. So after we kill all the soldiers, we reach this one door with a bunch of soldiers behind it. This scene is really weird because it starts off with Riley jumping through the window, supposedly scaring the shit out of everyone inside, which causes them to run out of the door for us to shoot at them, with one guy firing his weapon behind him for some reason. Did no one think to shoot the scary dog that just jumped through their window? I have a strong feeling this wouldn't happen if we were playing as Riley like before. So anyways, we shoot some more guys and we run into this wreckage of that Odin thingy from early in this game. A weird part is no one mentions it. No one's like, oh wait, isn't that the satellite Dad was talking about? Or some shit like that. I don't know. I kind of expected something like that. As we shoot through more guys and go through this one tunnel while hiding from the vehicles, I realized that I forgot to mention that throughout this level, Hesh is talking to some guy on the radio.
Dr. 6, this is Viking Actual. We are en route to target location. How copy? Solid copy, Viking.
Don't worry, we'll meet him later though. We once again take control of Riley in order to scout ahead.
Nice and slow. Scout around, see if you can find anything.
Oh well, thanks for finding the thing for me, Hesh. This time, instead of killing everything in sight like last time, we have to sneak our way to the checkpoint. We can still kill people though, it's just not a big part of it. This part is still fun, but again, it doesn't last very long. When we get to the waypoint, we see this one guy in the distance.
Hey, you see that guy's mask?
So nice you could join us. Rourke, what's the matter? You look like you've just seen a ghost.
Seriously though, isn't it odd how this guy is with the South American guys, but he has a southern accent, as if he's from Texas and not South America?
Nah, you didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you?
He also seems to be leading these guys, and he gives them a bunch of orders to the soldiers around him.
Move everything to Firebase Charlie.
In English, and not Portuguese.
Firebase Charlie.
Well, I'm sure he'll be important later. Anyways, we get back in control of Logan, head into the woods and meet a bunch of wolves who try to kill us. One of them almost kills Riley, but I was able to save him while Hesh stayed off screen like a useless little bitch. Then more wolves show up, but it's alright because this random guy shows up and starts shooting his pistol all over the place like an idiot. But that's okay because it scares off the wolves.
You look lost. We're not lost.
So anyways, this bald guy is Merrick and his friend is Keegan. They don't say it here, but as you may be able to tell from their mask and stuff, they're the ghosts that Dad was talking about earlier. I kind of wish they did just so that Hesh could be a dumbass again and be like, damn, I can't believe ghosts are real in the video game called Call of Duty Ghosts! I thought Dad was just bullshitting us. Oh, I'm kind of surprised they didn't add that in. What is actually told to us is that the guy from earlier was also their friend. Not the Texan guy, but the guy in the mask who he captured. But I promise you, he'll be important. So yeah, after meeting these fellas, we move in and shoot more of these guys by these houses. Nothing really special here, aside from the music in this shootout being kinda ass.
Target down.
Honestly, the music in this game is kinda meh. There are some good tracks. I like the one that plays in the military base in Brave New World. I also like the music in the menu and multiplayer. But most of the music in this game is pretty forgettable. Which is a shame because the Modern Warfare trilogy has some of the best music I've heard in a game. Yeah, this is some hype shit! After killing all those guys, the level ends. Not before we get a view of where we're going, which is the Super Bowl! Yeah! Despite a lot of room for improvement, I kinda like this level. It has a great atmosphere, and it was pretty fun controlling Riley. But I feel like there could have been more. For starters, there should have been more Riley stuff. There also should have been more dialogue at the house to get to know the characters better so that we can have a closer attachment to them. Because so far I really don't care about them. Despite all those things that could make the level better, I think it's important to judge what was actually put into the level rather than what could have been. I'm just going to give this level a B tier. Level 4, Struck Down. Despite what may have been stated a little bit ago, we're not actually at the Super Bowl. The Federation have been using a stadium as a base, and we're going to break through it to save that one guy. I forgot his name. Also, I should probably mention in the intro cutscene for this mission, Hesh says this.
These were the men Dad had spoken of. The ghosts. And someone dared to go against them.
He also says this.
Ghosts. We'd only imagined them. Now, we were determined to be one of them.
They're moving and we should go now.
We're going in there? What about backup?
Why do you think you're here?
I don't know about you guys, but I don't really like this Merrick guy. He seems like a douchebag. Given that the stadium has a lot of soldiers, we're probably gonna keep this quiet.
Grab that grenade launcher.
What? Huh?
Pick your shots carefully. You'll have to trigger them to detonate.
Oh, the rounds need to be detonated. Okay, so we just attach the rounds to the incoming trucks so that we can blow them up later. Okay, so we pull up to the stadium in this truck without a disguise. I mean, come on, you guys really think they're that stupid? They wouldn't let anyone in. Wait, why are we speeding up? Wait, stop! What the fuck is this? I thought the ghosts were supposed to be all sneaky and shit. Why are we making this much noise? Anyways, the majority of the mission is just shooting our way to the guy.
We need to get eyes on Ajax.
Oh yeah, sorry, Ajax. I keep forgetting the name of some guy who isn't all that relevant in the game. Wait, I didn't spoil that he was gonna die, right? What is pretty cool though is that we get to use this remote sniper throughout the mission. Including this one really cool part that shows the characters breaching the room. For some reason Logan isn't included in it because I guess Infinity Ward doesn't want to show their silent protagonists. After shooting everyone, we find this poor innocent Brazilian who we brutally kill. I don't really think I can show this on YouTube. So after gassing the other Brazilians and shooting through the back rooms of the stadium, we go through this area that's very ominous for some reason. We also gas more Brazilians right before we do this one cool slow motion breach. Kind of like the ones we see in Modern Warfare 2. For some reason Keegan decides to use 2 pistols instead of an assault rifle like a normal person, but I don't know, I just found it odd. I mean, he at least looks kind of cool, so whatever. So we eventually find that one guy and...
It's bad.
Son of a... Hang in there, Ajax. Hang in.
Rourke. It was Rourke. He's targeting. Look, the wall.
Come on, hang in there, Ajax.
He's gone.
Damn it.
Oh my god, not this shit again. I don't really feel sad about some random character we barely know dying. You think there was a funeral for Joseph Smith or whatever the fuck his name is who got shot by Makarov in the end of the best mission ever? No, because Infinity Ward didn't really give a shit about a guy we barely knew. These scenes piss me off so much because we barely know the guy and everyone's all like, no, not Ajax, not my beloved boyfriend Ajax. I only knew him for 5 seconds, but it's so sad how he died during sad music. The sad music plays when we're supposed to be sad, so that's why I'm really sad. This actually reminds me, I should probably talk about the characters a bit. Remember when I said that Retirement Lady had less character than a bar of soap? Yeah, unfortunately that applies to our main characters as well. I found this one video for the game where the lead writer says this.
Just playing alongside his brother, and there's actually a real family dynamic inside the game.
Wrong, that's a lie. Neither the father or the brother feel like family in this game. They never really bond, they never do stuff together, well besides the missions, but even that, they just feel like regular ass soldiers. Like, imagine if in Modern Warfare, Captain Price and Gaz kept bringing up how we were brothers or some shit, even though we're not related. That's kind of how it feels. They bring up that we're brothers and we're family or some shit, but it doesn't really feel like that. We just feel like soldiers just fighting together. In later missions, the dad is relegated to sometimes being on the radio, so he's barely part of this game. Like, Hesh could be your best friend instead of being your brother, and his character will remain exactly the same. If they were trying to go for a family dynamic, it probably wasn't the best idea to make Logan silent. Given that silent protagonists, specifically in COD, let the players fill out what their character would be like, Making Logan silent disconnects him from the rest of the family. If you want to have a family dynamic, you need to show that they're very close to each other. You can't have a family dynamic by telling me that these two f***s are your family. You need to write scenes and dialogue to show a proper dynamic. The guy also talks about how Hesh and Logan have an arc.
And then suddenly it's that arc of like, this is our moment.
This isn't really a lie, but it's an over-exaggeration. As we saw earlier, Hesh and supposedly Logan's goals are to join the Ghosts. Spoiler alert, they end up joining the Ghosts at the end of the next mission. The goals for the rest of the game are just to follow orders, I guess. They also decide they want to kill someone in the last few missions. That'll be important later. And then there's the other two Ghosts. As I said before, Merrick is kind of a douchebag who thinks he's hot shit. But in reality, he just kind of looks like that. He just wears a bandana around his mouth while failing miserably to try to cover up his bald head with a black tar, headphones, and a seatbelt. Keegan, on the other hand, has the look and personality of the original Ghost from Modern Warfare 2. As in, he doesn't really do anything that significant and he lacks personality. But he's the coolest looking character, so I can forgive him for all that. Keegan is a C-tier character and I love him for that. By the way, I was doing a bit of research on the wiki of the game. They gave Ajax a whole ass render, like the other main characters, and they ended up almost doing nothing with him. So yeah, our characters are just a bunch of cardboard cutouts and aren't really that interesting in the slightest. Unless you look through the Rourke files. You know those computers you can collect in the Modern Warfare games? The intel files in those games were completely useless. They didn't really give the player anything and was only put there for achievements. After 3 games and 6 years, they finally do something interesting with them. The Rourke files in this game basically contain details about the stories and characters. Think of them like the radios you find in BioCock. They contain an audio file, some text, and 3 photos. Each level contains 1 Rourke file or 1 intel file, or whatever you want to call them. There's also 3 files dedicated to 3 of the main characters getting interviewed. I have no idea how these are unlocked. I couldn't find much information on how to, they just kind of show up. So the first interview is with the dad, Elias, who talks about his 2 kids, Logan and Hesh. More specifically Logan, who he says is like his mother and is always close to his older brother Hesh. He also tells a story about how at a day at the beach, Logan followed in Hesh's exact footsteps.
But when I turned around, there were only 2 sets of footprints. Yeah, Logan had been walking exactly, I mean exactly, in his brother's footsteps. Like I said, he always follows his brother.
This is the only characterization of Logan we ever get in this entire game, and it's told to us rather than shown to us. The second interview is with Hesh, and he basically talks about how his dad trains him and his brother how to survive, and how he sent them into the forest to learn how to survive for days on end. But they enjoyed it. At least Hesh says he did.
But I don't mean to make it sound so bad. I mean, this is what we wanted. Dad always said we could quit at any time, go grab some fast food and pick out in front of the TV all night. But Logan and I, we wanted more.
This is some interesting stuff, but again, their relationship is barely explored outside of the intel files. The last interview is, with Merrick. This doesn't really add anything to his character besides make him even more of a douchebag. The guy interviewing him asks Merrick why he fights for the US. Merrick tells a story about how a dude who joined the military to fight for peace ended up dying immediately, and then says this.
When people ask me why I fight, I always tell them the same damn thing. I like winning.
Wow, he's so cool, he's so cool. Nah, he's a fucking dickhead. If he just wants to win, then why doesn't he just go over to the Federation like that one Texan guy probably did? I mean, it definitely seems like they're winning. Besides the character stuff, there isn't really anything notable so far. The first one is also an interview with another character who we have indeed seen before, but I'll bring it up when it's more relevant. So far, it's mostly just hints at what's to come later in the game. Wait, I just realized something. Our main cast of characters are just white American people. The one black guy dies, and the villains are made up of Hispanic people. Is this game racist? So anyways, the Yakubian snow demons figure out that Rourke, the Texan guy from earlier, is trying to hunt down ghosts, including that guy that died earlier. We make our escape back onto the field, where we get to use the remote sniper more. Riley also does this. We then use the sniper to get on one of the helicopters and escape. Somehow we don't get shot down, which would happen if the base is on full alert and the enemies know where we are. Both of those check out in this situation. Hell, even in Cold War Zombies, if you fail an exfil, you get shot down by an RPG for some reason. We also get a call from our dad, and he says that some shit is fucked up at the military base, and the Federation is right at our doorstep. So we head back there as the mission ends, and the screen on the remote sniper slowly shuts down. This is a pretty cool mission, aside from the lame scene of that one guy. What the fuck was his name again? Fun fact, we got to use the remote sniper more than we got to use Riley in that other mission. Which is pretty stupid, but it's still pretty enjoyable. Anyways, I'm putting this mission in B tier. I think I liked it a little more than No Man's Land. Level 5, Homecoming. As said earlier, the military base is being attacked by the Federation, and instead of helping our troops, we have to go find our dad. Okay, we do help our troops, but it's mostly just to find our dad. Not gonna lie, for a level where our home base is getting raided, this level feels kind of whatever, and I don't have a whole lot to say about it. This is also a relatively short level. Anyways, the level starts out by us flying into the base and walking around while sad music plays.
Yeah, this is Viking. Are you still there?
Affirmative, Viking, but we're losing ground. We need you to help reinforce the beachfront.
On our way. Any word from Captain Walker?
We walk up to this turret and we shoot what little soldiers there are. Not gonna lie, it's kind of boring, so thank God it just breaks for some reason. Instead, we're given this weird drone thingy and we shoot the bad guys with it throughout the level. Eventually, the balcony we're on collapses and we start moving up to this one tower right here. Besides the ability to be able to call in drones, this level is a pretty average shooting level where you just shoot bad guys through the trenches of this beach. There is one part where a huge aircraft goes over the trenches. Even then, it's just a ripoff of that one tank part in COD 2. Oh wait, by the way, I found Walter White in this level. Anyways, we share our way to this one house we were briefly in Brave New World. Since the house is breaking down, we get split up from our brother. So we go upstairs and...
Shit! You're bleeding! Looks worse than it is. You're gonna be okay.
Dude, what the hell? He got stabbed in the chest. Soap was also stabbed in the chest and needed immediate medical attention. To be fair, Logan's stab wound probably isn't as bad, as the guy only stabbed him a little bit rather than a lot, but I doubt he could just walk it off. As Hesh is trying to help us by touching us, these two fuckers break out of the ceiling and kidnap us and take us to their helicopter. These fuckers being the ghost from earlier. If you want more evidence on how Keegan is the least worst character and how Merrick is probably the worst character, Hesh gets really pissy about the ghost taking them away from trying to find their dad. Keegan tells him, yo, calm your tits, bro. But Merrick's all like,
Kid. Hey! We just saved your asses! You need your help! The hell you didn't!
Anyways, this guy breaks up the fight and starts talking to us.
We have to go back. Our dad's down there and we're not leaving without him.
That's real admirable of you. But your father's not there anymore.
Dad, this whole time you were one of them. You're
Dad, you're a ghost? Wow, I didn't know that. Can you at least try to act, Hesh? Anyways, our dad is also a ghost, something I absolutely did not see coming, especially since our dad is the one who told us about the story about them at the start of the fucking game. Could you be any more predictable?
Try the ghost.
Oh, sorry, the ghost. Not this ghost, he's dead. He also tells us that we passed our tests, which is probably the last few levels if I were to guess. All of a sudden we start talking about Rourke.
Both of them. It's all well and good. But what the hell are we gonna do about Rourke?
Rourke. That's the guy hunting the ghost, right?
Yeah, he's good. Very good. And he knows how we operate.
What? How's that possible?
He was one of us.
Anyways, this level goes in C tier, slightly above Brave New World. It was fun to shoot things, I guess, but there wasn't much besides the last few scenes and this one Breaking Bad reference. Before we move on, I gotta wonder what happened to Santa Monica, you know, the military base that was just being attacked. Do we just leave it for the Federation to take? Level 6, Legends Never Die. This level takes us back to a mission Dad did 12 years ago with his friends Rourke, Merrick, and Ajax. Should have been Keegan instead. They're in Venezuela to search for this general Almagro and kill him. It's also said in the intro cutscene and in the intel file that Rourke really hates Almagro for some reason. I don't think it's really elaborated on though.
I've never seen him so driven. He really wants this guy dead.
The cutscene also mentions how the Federation are imprisoning and executing US-born citizens, which I think is kind of hilarious considering that despite their hatred for the US, they let a guy from the US lead some of their soldiers 12 years later. So we play as Dad in this level who doesn't talk at all. Okay, look, I know this isn't really a big deal, but it's really weird when characters who are established to be able to talk do not talk in the levels where you play as them. In this case, it's even more jarring because number one, this is 3 years after Black Ops 1, which let their playable characters talk. Second, in the last level of Modern Warfare 3, where you play as Captain Price, he actually kind of speaks throughout the level.
This is it. Makarov doesn't leave here alive.
Granted, he doesn't talk a whole lot, but it's a pretty big deal considering this is the first time Infinity Ward actually let their playable characters speak in a level. So why in fuck's name do they continue to give them the silent treatment? I don't really have anything against silent protagonists in COD, but with this game's narrative, not letting the characters talk is a hindrance on the narrative and makes it weaker. One other thing, these guys are ghosts, right? Where are their masks? I can see Merrick's dipshit face. The level starts us out with us shooting the Federation as usual, while also getting rid of their missile trucks. It's pretty mid until... Yeah, this level's going to shit. Merrick says we should pussy out of this mission, but Rourke says we shouldn't.
I mean, that asshole just flooded the damn city and took out half his own guys.
We go up to the rooftop and shoot some more guys. We continue to do this until the roof falls apart and we end up splitting up from everyone and getting pushed through the river. But Rourke helps us up into this building. This building, however, turns out to have a few Federation soldiers who we sneakily kill. What's cool in this level is that you can crawl through the water to avoid being detected and kill some guys.
Just like old times, eh, Elias?
Ah yes, my favorite line to use when I have to tell my audience that two characters are really good friends. You know, maybe if you let the dad talk, you could have had dialogue that shows that they were friends instead of this stupid ass line. After leaving through the building, we shoot some more guys. Remember how I mentioned how you can go through the water in this level? Well, I'm pretty sure the enemies can't shoot you through the water, so when there's eventually water and shootouts, you can hide in the water and flank enemies. which I had fun with. In this section right here, we have to wait until there's enough debris to be able to cross to the other side, which I think is pretty cool. You know, it's neat to see all the debris come together. Oh yeah, we also run into the other guys. After shooting enough guys, we make it to the Almagro guy, who's trying to escape on his helicopter. We all get into the helicopter to try and jump him. I almost got a shot at him while Rourke is trying to make out with this one guy, but he does this cool move where he fucking shuffles around and grabs our gun and punches us. We do end up killing him, but the helicopter ends up crashing for some reason.
Everyone good?
Yeah, so as you can see, this is the part where Rourke dies. Rourke is like, "Dad, don't drop me. Remember that one time I said, like, just like old times when we were together 5 minutes ago? I'm your best friend." But Rourke is a fat f***, and I mean, look at his position. He has his arms and neck around the ladder, and the whole thing is about to fall. What does he expect me to do? So, of course, we drop him.
So what did you do?
I made the hardest decision of my life. I let him go and saved the others.
And with that, the level ends. You know what? This is the first level to go in S tier. It was a lot of peak. The flood scenes, the water, the fighting. It has everything you would want in a COD level. Although it could have been better, and the death scene with Rourke was kind of funny because it implies that he weighs too much. More like pork.
Oh, bro.
One other thing, I mentioned that Ajax was in this level. You know, the guy who died earlier. He did nothing this entire level, which proves that he is absolutely worthless. He has like 2 lines in this one level. He's alive and well. Come to think of it, I'm pretty sure he has the same voice actor who voices a lot of NPCs and the playable soldiers in multiplayer.
This place isn't gonna hold! He's taking cover by the loading dock!
I mean, in general, he has very few lines in this game as a whole. He has the most generic full name you could possibly come up with, Alex Johnson, and yet he takes up a noticeable amount of screen time. Infinity Ward simultaneously did and did not give a shit about him. Before I move on to the next level, I was reading comments through this one walkthrough for this level. I thought I'd read some of it to you because I think they're pretty funny. General El Madre is dead. This game is beast. I like good Rourke, but I don't like bad Rourke. Best game Elias! Splash. So Venezuela started everything? Rourke shouldn't hold the ladder, lol. I know the ladder was his downfall, but to be fair, he had to hold on to something. Anyways, let's not get too carried away and move on. Level 7, Federation Day. This is probably the most iconic level in the game. Anyone who's played this game remembers this level. But before we dive into what makes this level iconic, let's discuss the cutscene first. The intro cutscene for this mission continues Dad's story on Rourke. Despite searching for them for days, they couldn't find his body. By some Christmas miracle, the Federation found Rourke. Alive, in fact. They brought him to torture and brainwash him into fighting for them. This was 12 years ago, but all of a sudden Rourke comes out and causes trouble, and the ghosts have only figured this out recently. But now that we know that Rourke is alive, our goal right now is to find and capture him. We'll find out through some guy who's really close to Rourke, Ramos, who's more important in the Rourke files than in this level, as it's implied that the Federation need him to work on something, which we'll find out eventually. The level starts out with a beautiful shot of the city and fireworks, while Keegan is sitting there with his mask halfway off, so we can see that even without the mask, he's still pretty hot. Speaking of masks, Hesh, what the fuck is this? Aren't ghosts supposed to wear masks? That's what makes them cool. It almost looks like he's playing blackface. Jesus Christ, this game may be beating the racism allegations. I seriously don't know who looks worse, Hesh or Merrick. Who do you think looks worse? Leave a comment down below. We use a scope that will help us to scan people to determine which one is our target, which is obviously the guy in the coat who stands out like a sore thumb. After scanning the guy, we zipline to the building and start walking on the walls. The walking on the walls thing is so cool. So cool, in fact, that they use it again for the last mission in Modern Warfare 22. It feels satisfying to kill these guys like this. I also like the sound it makes when you're moving around the walls. We walk down to this floor, which has a server room, which we install a virus to that'll cut the power to the entire building. While we're uploading the virus, a bunch of soldiers walk by, and we can either let the virus upload finish or hide it right away. I don't think it matters that much. Either way, it's the same path. I just let the virus do its thing and then hide.
About that prick's face when he saw it.
We get back onto the line and turn off the lights. You also kill some guys who show up on the roof. Our character does this shit. We then sneak through the building some more, running into a radio that plays the Eminem song, which was made for the game. Which I can't really play on YouTube, but that song slaps harder than my dad's belt. Probably the best thing to come out of this game. We run into a room full of a bunch of guys watching TV instead of doing anything productive. So we help them by shooting it. I have to give a quick warning here for flashing lights, because we also turn on these flashy lights on our guns, which blinds them, which leaves them vulnerable to bullets. Jeez, no wonder people hate this game. Those lights almost gave me a seizure. We go back to the area where we entered the floor from and help Hesh by cutting the power to the elevators and also shooting some bad guys who show up. We go onto the grapple and move down more, except this time there's no more sneaking around and it turns into a more combat focused section. You also have to avoid bodies and this one printer that falls onto you. Eventually we lower down to this one big floor, which is kind of like an indoor forest or something, where we enter into a big shootout. Eventually we find the guy. He gives us some weird looking suitcase thing which has the location of Rourke. And speaking of Rourke...
Well. If it ain't the Walking Dead.
Okay, but seriously, why does he say that? I'm confused. Like, that is such a random line.
You tried to kill my father, you piece of shit!
What? What the fuck are you talking about, Hesh? When in the game so far did Rourke try to kill Dad? We haven't even seen them in the same room besides the flashback mission where he wasn't brainwashed. If he's talking about the Santa Monica invasion, it's not like that invasion was to kill Dad specifically. And if it was, that would be pretty stupid, honestly.
Where I am doesn't matter. What matters is a decade ago you left me to die in this city.
Not a single person in this room had anything to do with what happened to Rourke. Maybe at some point in development, Merrick and Dad was part of this level, but they're not here, so who the hell is he talking to?
And from this night forward, Elias lives with the knowledge he sent his own sons to their death. There's a setup. Let's move!
Oh, fuck, we gotta get out of here. Yeah, we're escaping. As we try to get back to the window, the building begins tilting. This guy tries to hang on, but slaps the ground with his face. And all the while, we're slowly falling to our demise, along with the feds who are probably shitting themselves right now. But luckily, we conveniently have parachutes. Damn, that was cool. But you know, thousands of people are probably dead now. All because Rourke really wanted to kill 3 guys. Hey Dad, didn't you say that Rourke was good?
Yeah, he's good. Very good.
If he really is good, he wouldn't need to cause all this destruction to kill those guys. Either way, this is another S tier level. A lot of great stuff in this level, including the wall walking stuff. This might be a bit controversial, but I like Legends Never Die slightly more. I don't know, the flood stuff was really cool. Oh, level 8, Birds of Prey. We just found out where Dad's ex-boyfriend lives, so we're going there right now. This mission is mostly about one thing in particular. Helicopter! Yeah, at this point in time, it was pretty rare for a COD game to feature fully controllable vehicles. Some missions in the OG3 COD games have a few levels with tanks. COD 3 has you driving your team around in a few levels. one tank level in World at War. Besides the World War II games, you don't really get full control of your vehicles. This is one of those rare occasions, and while the controls aren't perfect, this was a lot of fun, especially on my first playthrough, probably because a lot of the levels have been so average. You basically get to fly around the entire base, shooting and blowing up all the enemies along with these other helicopters who are also with you. The only issue I had was that I got to the very end of the mission, but it still wouldn't progress since the other helicopters were still far away blowing up other enemies, but the level wanted me to go over there and blow them up, and then after I blow up, more enemies spawn in. You know, but that's a small thing. Eventually we switch to the perspective of Logan and the ghosts, and it basically becomes another shooting mission. The interesting part about this shootout section is that the rooms are relatively small, so you can just slide around and shoot everyone quickly. We then go on this elevator, which goes up to the roof, and we switch back to the helicopter and blow everyone on the roof that's a bad guy. Once we get onto the roof, we shoot some more feds, until we get into this room where Rourke is.
On the ground, now! You boys sure know how to make an entrance. Shut up!
Hey, you guys find it kind of weird how Rourke is being really submissive? I thought this guy was supposed to be tough, and he just gives up like... Oh! I see. Anyways, this level's going in A tier. It's pretty fun. I didn't have a lot to say, but that's because the reason why I really like this mission is solely because of the helicopter. And also the shooting was pretty fun. Level 9. The Hunted. The intro cutscene for this mission basically describes how Rourke was tortured, and we actually learn a little bit more about the Federation. It's only about how much they love torture.
They kept Rourke in a hole for months, feeding him food mixed with the poisons of exotic plants. As they broke down his body, they went to work on his mind. When his mind broke, they went to work on his soul. They rebuilt what was left, twisting him to their purposes. The process was excruciating and exacting. Rourke was their ghost now. The perfect weapon to use against us.
So right now we're on a big ass carrier plane. Why are we on a plane? Also, you know how those boxes have the Federation logo on there? Did we steal this? Like, what is going on? We're currently beating the shit out of Rourke to try and see what he knows about the dig site in San Diego. Yeah, we're bringing this up now. The dialogue is really weird in this scene. Dad says that
ghosts don't break. Now, I'm gonna ask you one more.
Which is probably referring to Rourke being tortured by the feds. Yet they're trying to interrogate him by punching him. In other words, trying to break him. And then Rourke says,
Everyone breaks, Elias.
This is just a funny thing to say while being tortured. Everyone breaks, including me. Also, I like the dad's voice acting in this scene. I don't know, I just thought it was kind of funny.
Grab his chair.
Grab his chair. Logan! Bring him to me!
Get him on the ramp!
Get him on the ramp! Okay, let's actually do what he says. So we push Rourke to the end of the plane and open the door to drop him out. Dad pushes us like a jerk and grabs him.
It's over, Rourke! We beat you! You haven't beaten me, Elias. You just made my job a hell of a lot easier.
Wait! Stop! It's important that we understand that it's completely their fucking fault. Getting captured was part of Rourke's plan to sabotage the ghosts. He made absolutely no effort to hide it.
Ground, now! You boys sure know how to make an entrance. Shut up!
Now, it's not said out loud that ghosts are supposed to be smart soldiers, but considering that they were able to eliminate about 100 soldiers with whatever random things they could have, they're probably smart. If these dumb f***s were even a little bit smart, they would have noticed how submissive Rourke was and taken proper precautions. But they act like nothing was gonna happen, and they act surprised when something does happen. Damn it, Captain Elias Walker, Commander of the United States, I expected better of you. If you want more proof of their dumbassery, they start shooting the incoming plane using their pistols, like that one guy in the Vanguard trailer. I guess COD campaigns, no other COD campaigns. Anyways, this part is kind of insane. The big plane behind us launches grappling hooks to our plane and causes it to completely shut down. Not gonna lie, the way Rourke just jumps at us and is just standing like this goes super hard.
If you make it out of this, kid, come find me. There's always room for one more.
Hey Rourke, that's a really weird thing to say to me. What did you mean by that? So somehow we survived since we conveniently had a parachute this whole time. Unfortunately though, we're split up from everyone else and there are Federation soldiers all over the jungle that we're in. I'm just gonna say right now, I feel like this is the best level in the game. You get a pistol, a knife, and a heartbeat sensor. Throughout the level, you're given a choice between stealth and going loud. Either way, the goal is to meet up with your crew. I enjoy the level of freedom this level gives me. I had a lot of fun screwing around and killing everyone on sight. I also like the fact that we're in a jungle. Not only is it really nice, but also helps us with the use of stealth. Anyways, we meet up with the guys and continue on our way.
What the hell is that? Either way, let's not make ourselves an easy target.
The crew advises you to keep sneaking around in the jungle, but I shoot down this helicopter. And now everyone knows we're here. After moving through the cliff, we get to this one section with tall grass where we spot enemies moving through it. It's kind of like that one part in All Gillied Up in Modern Warfare. Oh yeah, and we also see this missile launch. That can't be good. Eventually a helicopter spots us and we move through some trees and we escape it by jumping down this waterfall. We meet with the dog who's just there for some reason, and the mission ends. This is the type of mission that Infinity Ward should be making for this game. The stealth, while optional, works pretty well in this game. While I don't like how stupid the ghosts are in that one scene, it makes up for it with everything else. Including Rourke hitting the hardest pose in the entire game. Which means it's going at the top of S tier. Above Legends Never Die and Federation Day. Level 10. Clockwork. So remember that missile I briefly mentioned? That missile didn't hit anywhere in the US, but we need to find out what the Federation are planning with missiles. So we're going to a base in the Andes that might have answers. So right now we're outside this one checkpoint, all dressed up in Federation gear. We quietly take out all the guards at the checkpoint, then hide the bodies and wait for another convoy to come in. Once the convoy arrives, we kill those guys. I like how we don't even try to hide the rest of the bodies. We just go about our business and ignore them. You know, if someone else shows up at the checkpoint, they're gonna see those bodies and alert the entire base. Anyways, we enter the base and infiltrate into it.
Ready your NVGs. Clean house.
Eventually, after shooting a bunch of guys, we get to this vault. We drill through the hydraulic seals, plant some explosives, and
blow it. Front door's open. ETA for the next 4 minutes.
We go back outside briefly and run to this one guy and throw him. And then we go back inside because it's really cold.
Oh, el Capitán González. Javier hacia aquí.
We reach this one place where the data is. By the way, don't shoot these guys. The game doesn't want you to. This part of the level is a defense section, similar to ones in Wolverines and Loose Ends in Modern Warfare 2. Although I don't enjoy this defense section as much as those levels, it's still pretty fun. Besides this random ass fire that kept killing me for some reason. So after the download is finished, we go to the elevator and escape. I love how when we get to the top, we just pretend that we didn't just kill a million people, and we just get to walk to a car without anyone shooting us. Unless you're like me and just decide to shoot your gun just because you're bored. Either way, once you're out of the base, cars will start to chase you, and you get onto a turret and blow them up. The turret has a machine gun, but you're forced to use the grenade launcher at the side. What I really like about this part is that when you shoot the ice, it creates this big hole which can trip incoming vehicles. It's pretty funny, unless you're the one getting tripped on them, so watch your aim. Eventually we get to the extraction point, but where's our ride out of here? At the end, that just blew my mind off. The submarine came out. Lol, nice. Anyways, this is going at the top of B tier. It wasn't anything too special, but I enjoyed infiltrating into the base, and that car chase sequence was a lot of fun. Level 11, Atlas Falls. So the data we stole from the base contains information about a factory in Rio, and we want to go there. Before we do, we gotta do some chores, and we plan to attack an oil rig, Atlas Falls. Hey, that's the name of the level! We're doing this so that we can cause a diversion and distract the enemy from the base or something, I don't really know. I'm just watching the cutscene and that's what they're saying. It also has enough fuel to fuel the Federation for years, which is another reason we want to take it down. So, where is it located, by the way?
Form in the heart of the Drake Passage.
I'm just gonna spoil the ranking right away. This level is average. After the last few levels being cool and unique and memorable, we unfortunately go back to one that's just okay. Although unlike the other levels that I put in C tier, there's some stuff that increases its rank slightly that I like. For an example, the start of the mission, which starts us out under the ice and we blow up the ice and let the enemies fall into the freezing water and shoot them. After climbing up to the surface and shooting everything else, we grapple onto the oil rig and shoot some more guys while we're walking through the oil rig. We breach through this door like it's fucking Modern Warfare 2, but not really because Merrick pushes us away from the door. But it's okay because it's to save us from the machine gun from the other side of the door. Eventually we get to this foreman guy and we screw up the oil rig control thingy and... Yo, Merrick, what the f***? Why did you kill him? He didn't do anything. Jesus Christ. By the way, earlier in the last level, the game got mad at me for shooting one of the scientists in that one defense room. Is it just okay for Merrick to do it? Does he feel the need to kill random people so that he can win some non-existent fight with them? Because he likes winning so fucking much?
I like winning.
After that, it's mostly just more shooting, but I do like the destruction and explosions going on around us. It's pretty cool. Eventually we get to this one part where we have to keep this bar in the green area as much as possible. I thought it was pretty neat. Anyways, the oil rig is about to blow up, so we have to run the hell out of here, and this part is also pretty cool. We end the mission by jumping onto this ladder attached to the helicopter. Again, this level is pretty average, but there's some stuff I like about it. It's going at the top of C tier above Brave New World and Homecoming. Level 12, Into the Deep. So before we raid the facility, we have to blow up a ship that's guarding the place. Which means we're doing another stupid filler mission. But this is a pretty good filler mission. You guys know that one clip where one of the devs hype up how the fish have actual AI and they move out of the way?
And also added an AI system to it. So we have fish move out of the way when you get close to them.
This is the level with the fish. And they sure do move out of the way. I doubt anyone would have noticed this without the video, honestly. Besides that clip, what makes this level stand out in not just this game, but the entire franchise, is that, as you can see, it's underwater. Which is something we pretty much don't get in a Call of Duty game. Okay, There is that one level in Modern Warfare 3, but to be fair, it only takes up a third of that mission. I mean, there's also a few levels where swimming is a thing. It's pretty cool. You get to swim around, watch a fish swim away from you. You also get a gun, which is less effective underwater, but I like the sound it makes when it shoots. There's also sharks in this level, which you only get to shoot once for some reason. I'll get to that later. The shootouts in this level are pretty fun since you have a lot of maneuverability since you're underwater and not on the ground. Enemies can also get up close to you like this guy. It was also pretty cool to swim through caves and wreckages. Eventually we run into the ship and apparently the sonar thingy is really deadly and hurts a lot, according to the intel file for this level.
The impact of the pulse is strong enough to crush organs or shatter bone.
So we better hide from it. Eventually we get to a destroyed lighthouse and fire this missile thingy that kind of looks like a hunter killer drone from Black Ops 2 and maneuver it to the ship and blow it up.
Nice, you got it! Oh, shit. Hang on!
Don't worry, our characters have plot armor, they'll be okay.
You okay?
Hey, fun fact about this sign, 4chan tried convincing people that this sign meant something racist. I know it has different meanings. Scuba divers use this sign to mean that everything's okay. But again, this game ain't beating the racist allegations. So we make our escape, shoot some more guys. We enter this one wreckage which turns out to have sharks, which for no reason at all, you're not allowed to shoot. Believe me, I tried. Multiple times. Even from far away. Even when I did exactly what the game wanted me to do, I still died to a shark. This part is honestly so stupid. After that, we get out of the wreckage and we find this pipe, which presumably leads to the factory. In other words, the next level. This level stands out from a lot of what COD has offered in the fact that it takes place under the sea. And for the most part, I've enjoyed it. I'm putting this in A tier, below Birds of Prey. Level 13, end of the line. So as we're getting ready to raid the factory, Hesh asks himself some interesting questions.
Hey, where's Rourke? Here? Ahead of us? Waiting? Is that good?
Yeah, I doubt it. If he was that good, he would have shown up again to stop us. Not when the plot deems it necessary, but inconveniently during a mission and fucking up the plan. That would actually make him kind of threatening. So we sneak up into the factory and shoot some more guys. Some more guys. Shooting some more guys. Some more guys. I want to fuck Keegan, by the way. And we shoot some more guys too. I think you get the point. Did I mention we have this one guy Kick with us? No? Good, because he doesn't really matter. Eventually we find out what the Federation has been cooking up, and it turns out to be a satellite similar to the Odin satellite from the first level. Now, if you look through the Rourke files and remember the wreckage in No Man's Land, you most likely saw this coming from a mile away. They've been insinuating this for most of the intel. Remember that dude Ramos from Federation Day? According to the Rourke files, he worked at the dig site and, quote, got everything he needed. He's also known for being good at reverse engineering classified technology. If there's one intel file that makes it obvious, it's this one found in The Hunted.
You've got the green light from the top. The satellite array can go operational. It is an impressive display of power and technology. I cannot help but feel inspired when I go there. How can men build such things?
Even without the Rourke files, why do you think they were chilling at the satellite debris earlier? Anyway, we take some pictures and we head out of here. We take some data from computers and it turns out that they made 24 satellites, which is pretty bad. What's also bad is that they shut off all the lights. I know what it looks like, but he's still alive. Anyways, we shoot some more people and toss some smoke. We turn on our heat sensor goggles and shoot while they can barely see us. The thermals get fried, so we take them off as soon as we put them on. And wait, is that a fucking riot shield?
Oh, riot shield! I'm a gonna use riot shield!
So we shoot some more guys until we get to this truck and escape. This chase sequence is easily the best part of the level. The mission ends with us leaving the factory.
We destroyed number 24, but where are the other 23?
Well, there ain't gonna be a 25th. J-Shock will give us our next steps. Time to head home, boys.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the more forgettable levels. The only stuff of note is the truck chase and the reveal of the satellite, which isn't even that cool because you see this reveal coming from a mile away. You know, Modern Warfare 2 also kind of did this, where 141 were trying to get to Prisoner 627, and they go through a few levels to get there. Kind of like how we spent the last 4 missions, including this one, to find out about the satellites. The difference is that the Prisoner 627 reveal is actually surprising, with it being the hottest COD character. Actually, the second hottest COD character, never mind. Plus, there's no unsubtle foreshadowing about Captain Price. I guess I also like the part with Merrick getting blown up. I think I'm gonna put it C tier, slightly above Brave New World. Level 14, Sin City. Now that we know about the Federation satellites, the Secretary of Defense wants to talk to us in person, which we intend to meet with at the Ghost Safe House in Las Vegas. Wait, if I'm remembering this correctly, I believe there's an intel file where Rourke is interrogating that one guy about a safe house.
So you want to tell me where the safe house is?
Well, shh. So as we're waiting for the guy, we get gassed. Damn! Now I know how it feels like to be a... We wake up tied to chairs, and Rourke is here to talk some shit and shoot us in the stomach.
Easy, Junior.
Just a quick warning, the dialogue here is probably the worst in the whole game.
Funny thing about your old man, he lets his men die to save his own ass.
Damn it, Rourke! This is between you and me! Leave my boys out of it!
You're talking to a superior, Lieutenant. Show some discipline.
You were never one of us. You're not a ghost.
Well, that's just because I'm better than you.
What?
I've always been better than you! But you call yourself a ghost? I'm better than you.
First of all, it's important to note that Rourke is a petty bitch whose sole motivation is to kill the dad, and I guess his friends too, just because dad couldn't save him, even though his stupid ass put his arms and neck around a fucking ladder. Second of all, you were never a ghost. Yeah, I'm better than you. Are they in elementary school? What the fuck is this? Also, you were never a ghost. What does that mean? You know, Rourke has a lot of dialogue within the Rourke files, hence the name. You're not gonna believe this though, they're actually pretty well written, at least compared to the shit they put in the actual game. Remember when I said that the first intel file, which you get in the first level, is an interview with another character? That character is Rourke. This interview took place a year after Operation Sandviper, which was that one mission Dad told us about at the very beginning of the game.
Honestly, Doc, you guys need to take a step back on this and let us do our jobs.
Soldiers who've been through a traumatic experience tend to indulge in their work almost to an excessive level.
You ever seen combat, Doc?
I've seen what it does to people.
Well, that's the problem. You've never had the choice of life and death in your hands. A little squeeze of the trigger and you've taken a life from this earth. In an instant, a living, breathing person is nothing more than a grease spot. Now why don't you imagine that happened to a friend? A brother, a father. Someone who saved your life multiple times and a little piece of brass just takes them away. Forever. Lights out. So why don't you just write down whatever you think they should do with me, Doc?
Tell them I have PTSD or whatever the hell you want. But when that happens to a man on my team, it doesn't make me reconsider why I do what I do. Fact is, it makes me want to find the bastard that did it and show him why he messed with the wrong men. We do bad things to bad people, Doc. The sooner you understand that, the sooner we can get back to work.
There's also this whole ass speech he gives in the last intel file, where he kind of says that the US sucks, and how he's going to bring liberty and justice.
I am Gabriel Rourke. I have been trained by your government to be a weapon, trained to kill and destroy, all in the name of liberty and justice. Even surrender my very life in service to your country. But I'm not one of you. The just have turned their backs and become deaf to your cries. Who then will show them justice? Who will show you the liberty they have promised? The weapon they have created will be their undoing. But do not fear this. Do not fear me. It is only natural. Like the collapse of Rome, your cities will crumble, and there will be great sorrow. But from the ashes of this diseased metropolis, a rebirth will occur. It will be paid for with blood and steel. Liberty must be restored. I am Gabriel Rourke, and I am here to show you the true meaning of justice.
This is some actually interesting dialogue. Why the hell didn't they put this in the actual game instead of, well, I'm better than you? Both intel files show us Rourke's beliefs about war and stuff, which, given that the Federation is implied to be a fascist dictatorship with a heavy emphasis on military, it's no wonder he joined the bad guys. He was probably like, damn, they make a good point, and began fighting for them in the hopes that he could get to kill Dad. So what was the point of torturing him for 10 years? I mean, he shares potentially similar beliefs as the Federation, and he mostly just wants to settle the beef with Dad. So why even bother torturing him? Rourke could have been an interesting antagonist, but he feels like such a mismanaged character. Like, they talk about how he's a really good fighter, but he really doesn't seem that strong in the whole game. I mean, he only got to us twice in the game. The first time in the plane was mostly because the ghosts were actually retarded. For the second time, he needed multiple soldiers to help gas us. There's only one time where he's shown to be really strong, and it's in that scene. I think you know what I mean. Anyways, back to where we were. Rourke is f***ing with us some more. We grab his gun, but he makes us shoot our dad. Dad's already dying, so let's skip to the part where he officially becomes a goner.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. You look pretty messed up, Dad. I think you're about to die.
You are right, Elias. I'm not a ghost. I'm the man that hunts them and sends them back to the other side.
So we're moved to a room with a conveniently large window, and the soldiers are about to kill us, but we see a little light in the distance. That's Keegan. He helps us by shooting these guys. We end up sneaking our way through the building, eventually meeting up with Keegan. Wait, wasn't he in a different building far away? How did he get here so quick? Eventually we get to actual combat instead of just walking around. Now the combat is usually pretty enjoyable, but in this mission it just feels tedious. It felt like I was stuck in the upstairs shooting the millions of soldiers that are downstairs. There's this one part where we're running down a hall and we get surrounded by soldiers. It's pretty cool, just watch a cool scene.
Shit! Left! Go left! Through here! Go! Go! Get to the window!
Logan! Logan! You okay? How about you, Merrick?
I'm good. But we need to move before those choppers find out where we are.
Eventually we get outside and we see the dog. No! Don't worry, he's still alive. Unfortunately, we have to carry him around and it's pretty annoying. So after shooting some more guys, eventually some US helicopters show up and are willing to take us to safety, ending the level. This level is going in D tier, above Ghost Stories. I was honestly not a fan of this level. The only thing that makes this stand out is the scene with Rourke showing up and killing Dad, which is probably the saddest death scene in the whole game, which is saying a lot considering I still don't really feel all that sad about his death, to be honest. The only unique character trait he has is being our dad. Honestly, I don't really care. I mean, he's not like my actual dad. Anyways, moving on. Level 15, All or Nothing. This level is slightly unique because it technically has 2 cutscenes. At least it's presented like there's 2 cutscenes. The first cutscene is just about how Dad died and how sad it is. The second cutscene is the actual mission. The plan right now is to throw everything we got at this one Federation base, which controls the satellites they have in space. Right now we have to protect the carrier from an attack from the Federation, which happens to be the only carrier the US has. By the way, we see Hesh and Merrick in this cutscene, and their mouths don't move at all.
We gotta go after him. I want Rourke. Negative, Hesh. The Federation satellites are moving into position. If they go live, the Feds can strike targets anywhere on the globe.
Yeah, they have a big hoopla about the graphics, the new dog model, and how it has a tattoo in its ear, and then they forget to animate their cutscenes. Oh yeah, I just realized I haven't talked about the graphics for this game. If you couldn't tell from the marketing for this game and some of the memes that came of it, Infinity Ward put a lot of work into making this game look pretty, especially since this is the first COD to show up for the PS4 and Xbox One. It looks good, I guess. I don't really care that much about graphics, you know, so long as it doesn't look completely horrendous. The battle isn't starting right away, so we have a bit of a talk. Merrick gives Logan his dad's old mask, which is probably the reason why people say this is supposed to be Logan. Whatever, that doesn't matter. What does matter though is that we say goodbye to the dog.
Your job's done. You're going with Merrick.
Hey, fun fact, the dog is only relevant in 3 missions and makes a brief appearance in another 3. I'm mad about this lack of dog model. Anyways, we wait a few hours until the Federation begins their attack, which is when the shooting for this level begins. Yeah, this is another average shooting level, but you know, it's pretty fun. You know, for starters, the shootouts in this level are a lot of fun. To be fair, they usually tend to be pretty enjoyable, but it's a lot of fun here since there's a lot of space and a lot of guys to shoot. We also get a guest appearance from Weaver, you know, that guy from Black Ops 6 Zombies.
Me fucking yow, motherfuckers.
One part I really like is this one chopper you get access to. More specifically, I love the way it just sings as you shoot down all the boats and ships. Yeah, that's some nice fucking sound design. Eventually we get to this one part where we have to get to a turret, and while we're on our way there, we get this cool as hell slow motion scene. The actual turret isn't as fun though. It's just locking in on the helicopters and this big ass gunship and letting the rockets do their thing. One part that's kind of funny to me is that when the soldiers are trying to climb up to the carrier using grappling hooks, you can cut the hooks and just let them fall. The level ends with us trying to get to a helicopter, but the carrier gets blown up and we have to run through all the debris to get there. This part is fucking awesome, by the way. Overall, I actually had fun with this mission. I'll put it at the bottom of B tier. Oh yeah, by the way, look at Hesh. Look at how fucking ugly he is. Level 16, Severed Ties. So right now we're on our way to the satellite base. For this mission, we're on a tank. And I'm gonna say this right now. The tank is fucking awesome. As you can tell, this is another vehicle level, like that one with the helicopter. But this one's a lot more fun. The tank's really fast, and it hits really hard. You also have some troopers to run over. You got a machine gun, a rocket launcher, and you also get a guided missile to hit targets from far away. I don't know how else to describe how awesome it is. Just watch the gameplay. love this. This is awesome. Oh, it's over now. Now we're back to regular shooting. This part where Hesh throws a fire extinguisher and shoots it in front of some soldiers is pretty cool though. Hesh has a massive hate boner for Rourke for killing Dad. For whatever reason, instead of coming to fight us like a real man, Rourke is on a train leaving the vicinity.
Is that good?
Yeah, that good my ass. This dude's entire motive is to kill the ghosts. Why the hell is he on a train? Why is he leaving? In the intel file for this level, he even says...
Let him come.
Either way, we quickly shear our way through this train, which ends the mission. Just kidding! We're back on the tank!
Woo! Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about. Woo!
Cap your ass! And your ass! You want some too? Ice cold, baby! I knew I was the chosen one!
Oh, man! Check out Special Agent
Tank! Off! Our tank is dead! Come on, soldier, we gotta run to this other tank! Go! Hey, by the way, this guy's name is Borderlands. What's with all the cameos in this game? So yeah, we get on this other tank and we shoot some guys while we escape. As soon as the timer reaches 0, we watch as the base explodes and the mission ends. Top of fucking A tier. This level's awesome. Although it would have been better if the tank was the whole mission. Level 17, Loki. So the US Army is sending a team of astronauts to space to take over one of the missile satellites manually. It's kind of funny because it's implied that the US has limited resources, salvaged helicopters, one aircraft carrier, yet they have enough resources to send a bunch of guys to space. Whatever. So this is the second time we're in space, and this is a welcome improvement over the last space section. Not only is there nothing similar to what happened with Retirement Lady present, but there's a lot more action involved. The combat isn't much different than what we saw in Into the Deep, but here you get to kill enemies quickly since the guns are actually strong, which makes it more fun. Yeah, that's mostly it. It's just fighting in space and shit. Fun, I guess, and also kind of cool. So we get to the control panel for the satellite and we go in and blow up the Federation's army at that one satellite base. This is a lot of fun and I love the big explosion the missiles make.
Southern reinforcements neutralized.
Eventually Merrick gives a new order through the radio.
Get the train and fire on it.
But sir, there are ghosts on that train.
The order comes from the ghosts. You're confirmed. Repeat, confirmed. Fire on that train.
Thompson, fire when ready.
You know, this part reminds me of that one part in Modern Warfare 2 involving a nuclear missile. We go through a level with the Rangers that ends with us getting trapped by Russians and with a really bright light. Then we get to this one level where the objective is to take out a Russian submarine that's able to launch nuclear missiles. When we get there, Captain Price gets into the submarine, and after spending a few minutes in there, the submarine prepares to launch a missile, and everyone starts panicking. Well, at least Ghost starts panicking. And when he tells Price about this, he simply responds with, yeah, we have no idea what he's planning. The very next level starts with out in space, and we see a missile blow up and send our poor astronaut flying away. We then cut to the Rangers as they were trapped by the Russians, but this time, we see the whole scene. That missile Captain Price sent was to aid the Rangers and disable the Russians' helicopters and stuff. Now granted, this was a reckless and honestly stupid move by Price, considering that he could have f***ed the Rangers as well as the Russians. But the reason I bring this up is because once again, it's pretty similar to what happens here in Ghosts. I'm just going to spoil what happens in the next level. Hesh tells Merrick through the radio to fire a missile at the train as a failsafe.
If you hear the word checkmate, you will fire in our position. Confirm.
As you probably already know, they did indeed fire a missile at the train. But you see, unlike COD Ghosts, Modern Warfare 2 actually had a bit of subtlety with the whole missile thing. You know, to get you wondering what was Price's plan the whole time. I imagine if Captain Price said at the beginning of the submarine level, "Alright mates, I'm gonna send a missile to Washington and f*** the Russians." Point is, it would have been so much more interesting if instead of saying that the order came from the ghosts, Merrick said instead, "I said blow up the damn train, that's an order," and you were just forced to blow it up. And also remove the dialogue with Hesh and Merrick about launching a missile from the next level. Not only would it have made things interesting, it would have also fit Merrick's character of being a dickhead. Anyways, this mission is over. I'm putting it in B tier, below Clockwork. Level 18, Ghost Killer. This is the final level in the game, which means we're gonna kill Rourke. In the intro cutscene, Hesh talks about how his and Logan's legacy would be getting revenge and killing Rourke.
To the fallen ghosts before us. To Dad. We'd fight Rourke and we'd stop him. No matter the cost.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what Dad would want from his sons. He'd want them to risk everything just to kill one fucking guy.
I hate this channel. Let's finish this.
So as for the gameplay for this level, there isn't a whole lot to say about it, at least until the last bit. The fact that we're on a train may seem cool at first, until you try to shoot people. The train is all shaky, which makes it hard to shoot people. It's made even worse if you have one of those guns with high recoil. But there's one thing that makes this level very unique from other levels. You can lower a bridge. Yeah, exciting, right? I do like how these helicopters show up and you can shoot the pilot and sink the entire helicopter. Not really unique to this level, but the helicopters are sort of at your level, which makes the pilot somewhat easier to shoot. Okay, I think the main highlight is the stuff at the end, so let's get to that right away. So we end up at the front of the train and breach through it. This part would be cool, because you got this guy who pulls up with the whole rocket launcher, which gets fired at the back, and we slide to the control room, grab this one guy's gun, and shoot everyone else. It's really cool, except for the part where I end up having to reset 5 times, because for whatever godforsaken reason, I couldn't do it consistently. It's made even better by the fact that the checkpoint is right before you interact with the door, and you have to go through this dialogue with Hesh every time.
We can't take any chances, Logan. Even if we fail, Rourke dies. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Anyways, Rourke punches us a few times and shoots Hesh in the stomach. But it's okay because we call in the missile, which sends the train along with us into the water.
Checkmate.
Checkmate confirmed.
What was that? What'd you do?
Lost Rourke. It's over.
We're still alive. The train isn't filled with water yet. So we take the gun and shoot Rourke. Oh shit, no bullets. Oh, thanks. We did it. We killed him. But the train is filling with water. We still have the energy in us to take our brother and ourselves out of the wreck. As we see the fish move out of the way one last time, we emerge back into the surface.
You got him, Logan.
You did it.
Merrick, Come in.
The game is over. We won. The Eminem song made for the game plays as we enter the credits and more ships get blown up. I'm just kidding, it just plays regular music. You know, it was such a missed opportunity to play that song. But whatever, I'm putting this level in C tier above Brave New World. Its only value is finishing the game with a bang. You know, given all this game's faults, it at least ends relatively strong. Wait, hold on. There's another scene. Wait, what the f-
Look at what you did. You're good. You'd have been a hell of a ghost. But that's not gonna happen. There ain't gonna be any ghosts. We're gonna destroy him together.
Are you serious right now? This man was shot in the chest and was probably down there for God knows how long. He should be dead and swimming with the fishes with AI. But no, in fact, he has the energy to kick our skull in and drag us away to who knows where. Oh, by the way, the credits continue and now the Eminem song starts playing. After watching our main character get kicked in the head, we now get this hype song. A song that's supposed to get someone excited. There is another post-credit scene where a dude is staring up from a hole, which is presumably Logan about to go through the same torture Rourke went through. So yeah, if you couldn't tell, this is a cliffhanger. They had plans to make COD Ghosts 2, which first of all, I don't really like cliffhangers. Putting them in any piece of fiction is probably the cockiest thing you can do. But that's just me. Second of all, they really thought that this would get a sequel. A game where a villain says this.
I'm better than you.
Before making a sequel for your work, it has to be good first. Now, is COD Ghosts a good game? We'll answer that question after we go through the individual rankings of every level in the game. Number 18, Ghost Stories. Number 17, Sin City. Number 16, Homecoming. Number 15, Brave New World. Number 14, Ghost Killer. Number 13, Atlas Falls. Number 12, End of the Line. Number 11, All or Nothing. Number 10, No Man's Land. Number 9, Struck Down. Number 8, Loki. Number 7, Clockwork. Number 6, Into the Deep. Number 5, Birds of Prey. Number 4, Severed Ties. Number 3, Federation Day. Number 2, Legends Never Die. Number 1, The Hunted. Keep in mind this entire ranking is my opinion. Write your opinion down in the comments below and maybe someone will give it. So to answer the question, is the game good? Not really, honestly. I wouldn't really recommend it. Although the story itself isn't complete trash, it's pretty underwhelming and it has a lot of room for improvement. The story also lacks subtlety. Just a reminder, the game starts out with a cliche of a character telling a dramatic story and another character not believing it. Speaking of characters, they're all just a bunch of cardboard cutouts with little to no character. Any character trait that could have been interesting is told to us rather than shown to us through the characters themselves and their actions. By far the worst part of this game though is that Hesh is ugly. Like, look at this man. I'm about to vomit just looking at him. I thought COD characters were supposed to look cool. But the actual worst part of the narrative is the villain, Rourke, who is such a mismanaged, stupid villain who hardly even has a presence as a villain outside of a few scenes. In terms of gameplay, it's alright. There are some awesome levels like Federation Day and The Hunted, but most of them are pretty average, or a B- level. You know, I played this campaign 3 times and it's been quite a ride. Some ups, some downs, kind of like this entire franchise. While Infinity Ward after Modern Warfare 3 hasn't really been at their best, one thing I believe they still have is the ability to make a decent campaign. COD Ghost may have been a mess, but after this game, Infinity Ward will make Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare 19, which in terms of campaign, I consider some of the best in the franchise. Modern Warfare 22 is another decent game, but not as good. I might elaborate on that in a future video. At least if this video gets more than 2 views. The point I'm trying to make is that even when you mess up once, it doesn't mean you're bad at something or you've lost your ability to do that thing. If you mess up, you learn what went wrong so that you can avoid making that same mistake in the future, which is what Infinity Ward probably did for their future campaigns. Anyways, this concludes today's video. I've been David Grass, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.